Hey guys, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm in Fuego here.
Back with another review for you. This one is going to be a review of the first episode of the currently running Syfy Grindhouse show, I should say, called Blood Drive.
Blood.
Now, there were a lot of ads for this going into it. A lot of successful ads, in my opinion.
Fun as fur.
Yeah,
man.
we absolutely love the ads for this. But I tell you what wasn't clear, and what was supposedly stated by a commenter in our reaction.
I'm actually loosening my tie.
Yeah, was that this was supposed to be an anthology of some kind.
Originally? Or?
I don't know, but
Really?
that's what one of the commenters said
I think
under
that
our
commenter's
reaction.
confused because it looks like we have like a super babe who's gonna. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, this is just
different...
Death Race 2000 in the long form.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe different episodes will focus primarily on different racers because they introduced us to a lot of people right off the bat
I imagine
here.
so.
Yeah.
I imagine so.
Yeah, so maybe that's the.
But yeah, the
kind of anthology.
the whole premise is the deadliest race known to man.
Yes, with vehicles that are powered by blood in an
Literally.
alternate reality.
Yeah, that literally eat people. Like the motors are mouths and things like that, which is really one of the cooler fucking things. Yeah,
really the only cool part of that.
Yeah, honestly,
I must say,
I agree.
Everything else was just.
So let's jump into it. Our overall thoughts as we normally do these.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as Fuego just sort of indicated, this was a bit lackluster for me. I love the idea. In theory, a massive blood race. I mean, it's so funny that this is a thing going on right now, especially when we just did that review of the Showdown, which was a comic that's about a race to get out of hell.
Yes,
which is actually a really good idea as well. But all these horror racing ideas are out and about in the ether now, and people are doing them. So
if I can say, the characters in that comic were way more interesting than the array of characters in this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, so the whole thing starts off with this chick on the side of the road.
You've seen her on the trailer or the previews of the little lollipop. She's sexy.
She's broken down on the side of the road, and you see this dude roll by and trying to help her out, and they're. I can't tell. Was he a creep or not?
Oh, he was a total creep. He was trying to rape her, dude, but she needed fuel.
Yeah, exactly. She needed fuel, and so she basically tricks him over to the front of the car, right?
Yeah, and the friend is totally he doesn't approve of what his buddy is trying to do to this chick, but he just bats a blind eye, and he's like, just hurry up, man, just hurry up. And this is the first 5 minutes, so we're not spoiling much. But
right, exactly. So, but basically, she tricks him over to the hood of her car. Pops the hood, and you see that not only is it what looks like a bunch of grinding gear clockworks, but her actual engine manifold opens up, and there's gnashing sort of metal teeth inside as well that are also grinding gears, but it's like chomping, like a mouth.
Carburetor, meat grinder, craziness kind of thing going on.
And she shoves the dude in, and he immediately it's the scene from Fargo.
Yep, you see a lot of this color right here.
Yeah, it's and it's surprising how much of it you see, considering it's now the
Syfy Channel, dude. Were they dropping F-bombs in this?
Well, here's the thing. I think we might have gotten our hands on perhaps the Canadian stream of it.
We won't divulge how we came upon
I
this.
cannot imagine that all of this gore made it onto the Syfy Channel.
I was shocked too.
And the little logo in the corner was like space or something like that. It was a different channel.
Yeah. However, I'm still shocked at the stuff I see on AMC now on The Walking Dead and
True, but I still don't think it would have
even
been as egregious as this was.
Yeah, people are pushing the boundaries. It's so funny in America. It doesn't even have to be a premium cable channel at this point. As long as you're not showing tits and stuff like that, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. Simulated sex, really crazy gore, and yeah, the times they are changing, as Bobby D said.
So basically, that's how we get introduced to this world of people munching cars and racers.
Isn't it like
and then we cut to something like that. We cut to a couple of cops who are
boring.
Yeah, boring as hell.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the actual race, and these cops are essentially have stumbled onto this thing, and they see all these racers gathered. And it's run by this essentially this carnival barker.
Yeah, he's very vaudeville goth kind of. Almost,
Goth vaudeville with these little tiny glasses and a top hat and nasty teeth and like welcome to Blood Drive. He's all over the place in his delivery and stuff. Like it's a little bit weird.
It had some genetic opera. Oh goodness, whatever the hell that is called. Repo. It had some serious Repo vibes at times, just minus the interesting music. So yeah.
Well,
visually. Kind of.
So that guy is going to be a mainstay, and he essentially is doing the exposition, explaining what everyone's there for, and you see all of these lowlives and zeros and evil kind of people, generic, a lot of them,
generic, yeah, cookie cutter,
gathered that are meant to be taking part in this blood drive race, and the cops are watching, and stupidly enough, they try and engage. So. And they end up getting captured, and one of them specifically, the, of course, beefy blonde dude.
Ken, as she keeps calling him.
Yeah. He ends up getting tied to her because for reasons, I guess.
Yeah, and which we don't want to divulge. But how silly. 2 cops. They're like, the 100 of you are all under arrest. There's 2 of us. It's like, come on, guys.
That's just one of the logic problems we have in the whole show.
There's many. I mean, we can check our brains in at the door.
The cop is forced to be the female driver's second, or the spotter, or whatever you want to call him.
Her bitch.
Exactly the same thing from Death Race. Like it's literally the same plot from Death Race, except much gorier and with people eating cars.
Which was what brought us into the viewing in and of itself.
Exactly.
Like,
so the first leg of the race is the first episode, and they say the last person to cross the line at the end of this first episode is the loser and dies. And so I guess this 13 episodes or whatever, there's 13 racers, and one episode is going to be the death of one racer all the way up until the end. But they do something at the end, and I'm like, really? And then
oh boy, was it lame.
It was okay. So our racers are in peril of being the last place, and something has to be done. And the decision that's made is so over the top and bad, in my opinion.
And purposefully, just kind of I don't know what.
They were trying to be
scandilosa.
They were trying to be titillating just to titillate, and it was so stupid, and it fell completely flat to me. And then
so illogical.
The way the car crosses the line, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so stupid. Even for the world you set up, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And let's tackle it from the Grindhouse perspective. There were some aspects that were successfully Grindhousey, but overall...
Damn right, conceptually especially.
Yeah, overall, though, it seemed like they didn't go quite all the way. It was still too clean to be Grindhouse.
And yet, at the same time, trying too hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, not going all the way, but trying too hard within their constraints. That's what just bugged me so much about this, because the concept fascinated me so much. I was like, this is going to be badass. I loved the first half of Grindhouse much more than Death Proof, but just the entire vibe of that. I mean, I think as you mentioned, you're like, for every, for every machete, there's a machete 2 or something silly like that.
I don't think that was me.
We were joking about.
That's true as hell.
Yeah, so I mean, I love the approach. It's obviously very much in vogue. I mean, when you watch the episode the first episode of season 2 of Preacher, for instance, at the beginning when there's a car chase, they flip the filter, and you're like, okay, everybody's doing Grindhouse at this point, and that's not a spoiler, but it's like it's very popularized at this point, and this felt like a very vanilla version of Grindhouse in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree.
Despite all the red.
Despite the gore and everything, but nonetheless, yeah, it just was sort of a pale comparison, and it tried to be Grindhouse, but without those sort of rough Grindhousey cuts and the fade in the film and the weird things like that. It feels like you're just not going all the way, and so it doesn't work. It feels sort of like, oh, you're trying to update it, but it's just not successful because it needs to feel dirty. It needs to feel like
and that's
like
where
gritty.
The Syfy Channel was probably a bad home for this.
Maybe so. Maybe
However,
they even, who knows? Maybe there was a filter that did that, and then Syfy's like, no, get that out of there.
I'm still kind of intrigued, though. I mean,
I'm intrigued enough to watch the next couple.
I would like to watch a few more and just see what the hell happens if they
Yeah.
up the ante, if they crank it up to 11 or whatever.
Or if it was just a rough pilot that was
Yeah.
sort of proof of concept.
It felt very much like a pilot. The one thing that irritated me so much about this pilot, it's supposed to be alternate universe 1999. I'm a big fan of Marilyn Manson, and yet if you're going to play a song from the golden age of the grotesque that came out in the mid-2000s and it takes place in the alternate 99, I guess Manson, you know, his catalog has been thrown around. This is just me nitpicking at this point, but
Clearly.
yeah, mob scene. I can't sing more than that, or we'll get copywritten or whatever. But it just ticked me off. I don't know. I'm a nitpicker when it comes to music like that. So
Yeah, so overall it was a bit of a disappointing bag. I mean, the acting was cheesy, almost all the way around.
yeah, I mean, maybe the girl was okay, but once again, she was even more.
She was even super hammy at times.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Her interactions with the Ken doll were just. They had no chemistry, and for things...
They were both really bad.
They were terrible together, especially.
Yeah.
Separately, they were meh, but then together, it was like, oh my god, this is... What am I watching?
Two meh tastes that taste super meh together.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, this was a bit of a rough patch, but the gore was great. If you want to see good, fun gore, watch it for that.
Give it a
fast forward
shot.
through the other parts, but
You may like
through
it
the
better
other
than
parts,
us.
so to
I'd
speak.
say, yeah, Speed Racer. You know.
So yeah, that's going to do it for our review of the first episode of Blood Drive. Who knows? If it's good enough for us to keep through, maybe we'll just review the whole series once it's done or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I mean, see what it ended up getting to.
exactly.
Perhaps.
So let us know in the comments down below if you watched it, what you thought of it, or if our review swayed you to either try it or not. I'd love to know your opinions on it. But until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias a Jaime and Fuego.
And remember,
Stay
stay scared.